This weekend, the Norwich men's hockey team, the unbeaten Norwich men's hockey team, is back home at Kreuzberg to face Babson and UMass Boston in a pair of NEHC contests. And Cadets coach Cam Ellsworth joining us now as part of the Coach's Preview, brought to you by Sticks and Stuff. Coach, good week to you.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you.
All right. So you had Hobart and Skidmore this past weekend. A couple of big wins against one team receiving votes, and I know rankings aren't important, but number 5 team in the country, 2 very high-quality teams. How do you feel about your team's performance last weekend on the road there?
Just ecstatic to get 4 points on the road in conference play. Regardless of the opponent, I think it's really tough to do that. So I was really proud and to go on the road. The longest trip of the year presents some different challenges with Hobart being a real small rink and Skidmore being a really big rink, and just the travel in between. So really, really happy for the guys and for the group.
What is that like as a coach when you're sort of trying to strategize moving between different size sheets? Is there a lot of sort of work that you got to do with that, or is it kind of throw them out there and you expect them to know because they go different size ice sheets all the time?
Kreuzberg is a unique spot. It's kind of in between the two sizes, so it's not quite an Olympic, but it's not a quote unquote NHL rink. Going into someone like Hobart, which is a smaller sheet, that was where our main focus was. Just worked a lot, tried to do a lot of stuff in tight spaces in practice, try to really shrink down the guy's time and space, and in an effort to try to practice for that. And then thought we put in a really one of our better skating lineups in for the Saturday game. And there's just we've talked a little before. We worry a lot and only talk about our guys about the Friday matchup until we turn the page. So it's a really quick turnaround, and so it is a little bit challenging to, again, jump between sheet and sheet, but more than anything, just really proud of the way the guys responded.
Well, this one, you get the same sheet for 2 nights in a row, so that's always a good thing. Let's go back to the end of that Skidmore game. You pulled Tommy O'Brien at the end. Things got a little bit physical in there. You had Ben Nelson in there for, I think, 5 seconds officially. Sort of describe what happened there at the end of the game in your own words.
We didn't pull him. The ref politely asked them to leave, but it was just a game that it was a hotly contested match, and we felt like they were getting and taking some shots at Tom and getting around him, and just an altercation kind of sprung up at the end where kind of everybody was involved, and Tom was in my estimation protecting himself and got stuck, and again, this is after an entire game of them kind of being around him, but that's what happened, and I think for us, I would say that I'm urging them and myself and all of us that we have to be better. We can't let our emotions gravitate to that level. So we're hopeful that that's kind of the end of that, and we don't see it the rest of the year. But it was a melee. We spent a couple days kind of getting through everything, talking to a lot of the chiefs, the commissioner. There was no discipline on either side, which I think for both teams is good because there was a lot of people wrapped up in what happened, and again, we're trying to put that behind us and move forward.
Coach Lee Cattell here. Does the game misconduct mean that O'Brien won't be available for Friday, or is he expected to go?
No, he was cleared on Tuesday. They ended up having a conference call, and they had a player kicked out. We had a player kicked out, and again, everything was reviewed. There was a lot of communication, video talk with the refs. There's just a lot going on, but they did rule both players eligible to continue.
All right, now let's move ahead to this weekend. You've got Babson and UMass Boston coming in. 2 high-scoring offenses. UMass Boston leading the conference right now, and Babson is right up there in sort of the upper levels as well. What do you expect to see offensively from the firepower that these 2 teams are bringing in?
Well, Babson's a really unique team. They recruit very specific type of player. They're incredibly skilled. Their sticks. They make a ton of plays with their sticks. Last year, we split the season series with them, and we ended up beating them in the semifinals of the conference tournament. So have had a chance to be around them a little bit, and definitely expecting a challenge that way. Just the skill level from their first forward to their last, all defensemen. And that's going to be a challenge for us to be really attentive with our stick on puck. And they play a very, very high possession game. They really like to possess it. So we've got to try to put pressure on them and make them uncomfortable. UMass Boston is got an older group of forwards. They only returned 1 defenseman from last year's team that won the conference regular season. Their best defenseman is still back. So they got a young decor. But they've got again some high firepower in the way that they attack, and the way that they skate, and the way they transition the puck. So two different styles of game, but challenging nonetheless for both nights.
We talked about Babson, and he talked about how a team that comes with a lot of skill. They've also got a great power play. You've only let up one goal this season. That was not a power play goal, so you're 100% on the penalty kill. And Babson coming in with the number one power play unit in the conference thus far. Have you talked a lot about special teams, or how much special teams work have you done this week so far?
Yeah, we to be truthful, we try to keep the schedule of what we're doing pretty similar. So I've watched a lot of video with the staff, and we have a special teams meeting today that we go over everything for tomorrow. Try not to get too high or too low, and if somebody's coming in with a high percentage like this weekend, or if somebody's coming in with a smaller percentage. I mean, I would just say our power play is, I think, down 15%, but by chances, I think our power play is lethal right now. We've hit some posts, and some goalies have made some unbelievable saves. So there's some really unique things in the numbers. So we don't try to get too wrapped up on it. Babson, they have two different looks. Their main look is a box and one, which is unique. It's really difficult to kill, which is obviously you can see in the numbers. So our goal, like always, is just going to be to really work hard, make them earn their ice, make them earn their setup time, and then from there, hopefully we can defend and get a save.
And, of course, if you don't go in the box to begin with, they don't get to use their power play. So there's always that as well.
Well, yeah.
That's easier said than done, obviously. But I do want to look ahead really quick to next week. Not so much about X's and O's and everything else, but in terms of just the Prime Link shootout in general. Is there an excitement level around the team? You've been through it once already. How much are you guys looking forward to that next weekend?
Well, we actually touched on the whole Thanksgiving Day. We're out of school, so our schedule changes dramatically, going from class every day and practice in the afternoon. We'll have morning practices, and we're going to have guys kind of cooking each other Thanksgiving meals. And so we went over that yesterday just to try to basically block it out until the beginning of the week. The Prime Link obviously is a storied tournament, maybe one of the coolest events in what I'm learning in Division III hockey. Last year they kind of informed me of the history of the participants and the winners of that and what that's meant in the national scene as the year goes on. So I'm thrilled. The guys, I'm sure, are really looking forward to it, but we're trying desperately just to keep our focus on the one day in front of us tomorrow, Babson, and get through the weekend, and then we can kind of take a deep breath and again kind of get through a really different week of preparation and trying to get our Thanksgiving meals in and see our families and go to Plattsburgh and play some hockey.
All right, Coach. We'll let you get back to that preparation, and best of luck this weekend against Babson and UMass Boston.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, Coach Cam Ellsworth joining us here, the Coach's Preview. And again, coverage tomorrow night against Babson starts at 6:35. George Como on the call right here on WDEV FM and AM.